There's a particular kind of tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. It comes from giving effort where effort quietly vanishes. Not criticized, not rejected, just absorbed. If you've ever worked hard and watched it disappear into silence, I want to talk about that place tonight because it changes people slowly and without asking permission. Work was never just work. It was where I learned how invisible effort could be. In the beginning, I believed the story they told us. That effort speaks for itself. That consistency is noticed. That integrity eventually finds its way back to you. And maybe that's true, just not on the timeline we expect. At first, it felt simple. You show up on time. You do what's asked. You do a little more when you can. You don't complain. You don't cut corners. You don't make noise. You assume someone sees it. But work has a strange way of rewarding what's loud and overlooking what's steady. I started noticing it in small moments. How credit traveled differently than effort. How certain names stayed visible, no matter what they did. How others carried weight quietly without acknowledgement. Politics didn't arrive like a villain. It arrived like smiles, like meetings where nothing was said directly, like decisions already made before the conversation began. And if you weren't paying attention, you'd mistake it for professionalism. Effort didn't disappear all at once. It dissolved. You'd finish something important, and it would be absorbed into the system. No feedback, no follow-up, no recognition. Just expectation that you do it again next time. That's where the quiet bitterness starts. Not because you want praise, but because being unseen makes you question your own value. You start asking things you never had to ask before. Am I doing too much? Am I naive for believing this matters? Am I invisible because I'm quiet, or quiet because I'm invisible? The world tells us work is transactional. Give effort, receive reward. But reality is messier. Sometimes effort becomes a habit others rely on. Sometimes integrity becomes an assumption that works against you. Sometimes loyalty is convenient until it isn't. And still, you stay. Not because you're blind, but because you're testing something deeper. I remember the first time I realized effort alone wouldn't protect me. It wasn't a confrontation. It was a realization. Someone else received credit for something I carried. Not stolen, just reassigned. No apology, no acknowledgement, just silence. That moment taught me something uncomfortable. The system doesn't betray you loudly. It lets you believe you're safe long enough to reveal where you were never considered. I wanted to react, to speak sharply, to expose what I saw, to demand fairness. And sometimes that's the right move. But that night, I didn't. Not because I was afraid, but because I wanted to understand what staying would cost me. Staying meant learning how to work without attachment to applause, without bitterness, without letting resentment rot what integrity was building. That's harder than it sounds. It means choosing excellence even when no one's clapping, choosing restraint when reaction would have felt justified, choosing patience while watching others rise faster. That kind of staying changes you. It exposes your motives. You realize how much of your effort was secretly asking to be seen, and how painful it is when that request goes unanswered. But something else happens too. When effort goes unseen long enough, it stops being performance. It becomes practice. You begin to work from principle instead of recognition. from alignment instead of reward. And that's when the work stops defining you. I'm not saying that makes things fair. It doesn't. But it makes you free in a way systems can't touch. Because once you stop needing the system to validate your effort, you start choosing where and how you give it. I didn't stop caring. I just stopped expecting the world to hold what only I could. If you're listening to this while feeling undervalued at work, while watching effort vanish into silence, I won't tell you to endure forever. But I will say this: pay attention to what unseen effort is shaping inside you. Because long before it pays externally, it's already forming something internally. And that isn't nothing. Imagine carrying water across a long stretch of desert. You plan carefully, you ration, you tell yourself every step matters. When you finally stop, exhausted, you pour the water onto the ground, expecting it to pool, expecting proof that the effort counted. But the sand absorbs it instantly. No puddle, no reflection, no sign it was ever there. You stand there confused. You know the water was real. You felt its weight the entire way. You felt your arms ache carrying it. But the ground gives nothing back. That's what effort feels like when it disappears. Work that goes unnoticed. Care that isn't returned. Consistency that earns silence. The hardest part isn't the loss of water. It's the doubt that follows. Did I imagine the effort? Did it matter at all? What the desert doesn't tell you is that the water didn't vanish. It went somewhere else. It sank deeper, feeding roots you can't see yet. Effort doesn't always reward you where you poured it. Sometimes it changes the ground long before anything grows.